Okay, I'm weaving a rug out of blue jeans, much like that one is, off of this ball of blue jean material. But I thought I would go through and explain where this stuff comes from. Okay, we buy, for years we bought garbage bags full of jeans from a thrift store. So like they come in this kind of a bag, 15 of them in a bag for $0.10 a piece. So $1.50 a bag. And then what I do, cut that bottom seam off, make a cut on each side of the side seam, and tear off that. So it's like a fillet of jeans. And cut them off. And then these pieces are cut into strips. I got to check. I have learned you have to check the pockets. Because a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but this does happen. People will leave bills in the pockets, and you don't notice them. And what I do with these pieces, after I cut what I call the panels off, the remnant part I burn in the wood stove. And there's nothing puts out heat like jeans, believe me, they just really burn. It's a great way to get a wood fire started, you know, instead of kindling, put in a piece like this, you know, this scrap piece, you throw that in the stove and light a pocket. And I think they've got like some polyester in the pockets to make them stronger, and they just burn like a fuse. They will start a fire very easily in no time. The first time I ever did that, you know, I threw in too much. I mean, I burnt the place down. They will get out of hand in a hurry. But one of these, you'll get a tremendous amount of heat off of. So I do that. But at the same time, you know, because then I save the panels, you know, the good material. The reason I have to make some up now is because my mom needs some, because the ones that I had given her before, my sister needed, and she took them. So I have to make up some to replace them. But this is a good way, too, to find out, like now this one, I suspect isn't pure denim. I think it has some poly in it. And you'll know it right away when you go to try to rip it. Nope, this isn't. This is red cotton. Because I don't use the poly blends. I want it to be, you know, the pure denim. But there again, man, it's got to check pockets. I say that because more than once this has happened where, like I say, I throw a piece like this in the stove to get the fire going. Fire gets going, I open the stove door, and I'll look and I'll see bills of money laying there, ash, you know, like if you burn a dollar bill, it'll be the perfect print of a dollar bill, but it'll just crumble, you know. So when you look in there and you see a roll of ashes, that's not a good thing. So you got to check pockets. At the same time, when I'm doing this, I'm keeping a very close eye on what kind of jeans I'm cutting up, because there are some that are relatively valuable. I used to have a connection with a guy. Anytime I found anything that was a bit rare, or really anything in the older Levi's, but especially the 501s, he would buy them from me. Even if they were in pretty rough shape, it didn't really matter. But he had a contact over in Japan that he was selling them. And some of these were bringing like a couple $100. You know, so you don't want to cut them up for others. So there was that angle to it. But I did pretty good business with him, you know, so I have learned to watch. You know, because vintage Levi's in places like Japan can bring pretty good money. The only thing is they have to be of the smaller sizes. No, you can't have some 38-inch waist. You know, it isn't going to work in Japan. But if you get like 30s and 32s, you get a chance. And you get the muscles from doing this. But then when you get them done, like I say, they are cut into strips and then sewn together at an angle. You lay the strips in as you're sewing, and then you can cut the thread and cut the ends off. That way when it goes into the rug, it's smooth. But it takes like at least a dozen pairs of jeans to make like a 3-foot rug. And you have to be, you know, like I say, we buy them, or used to buy, we got enough now to last our life, you know. I've got a storage full of this stuff. But you have to watch also for some that have got paint on them or are badly stained. But even those, you can often use the back of the legs, are still good. You know, because I don't want a stain showing up in the rug. Because you'll get sometimes pants that are, you know, full of paint, that sort of thing. They're not useful. Or you'll get sometimes little kids' pants, though there wasn't a lot of them. You never get many of them. But you will find sometimes the ones that have got polyester blend so that they're like a stretchy material. And I don't use them either. So I try to stay the same shading. See, even with the, you know, like there was that whole acid wash stuff. I don't use them either. Well, you can, I mean, if you get enough of them, but it makes, I never cared for that, you know. It makes a rug, but you have to get enough of something that'll work together. You know, they can be various shades like that is, that's fine. You know, you could go and sort by brand even. But most of what you're getting are a lot of Lee's, a lot of women's, a lot of these that are, they got tight legs on the bottom, and they get up there and they get a big rear in them. A lot of this particular kind of thing. But it's all material. But once in a while, I have run into ones that I can make use of. But the main thing is to keep an eye out for the, like I say, the vintage stuff. Because some of that you do not want to destroy. You know, there's a whole big market for that sort of thing. But like, here's the thing I gotta watch too. There's a spot here that looks like tar. Well, if that ends up in a panel, I'll cut that part out. But like I say, most of the time these have got such a taper to it. Yeah, see that? The tar spot ended up on the other side of the taper. So that's the paneling procedure. But, this, like I say, excellent burning material. But yeah, no, the last couple I haven't checked pockets, and it's very disturbing to see ashes of money, particularly when it's in a roll, you know, and it, you know, where somebody had folded bills together, and you can see the ashes, and you open the door, the ashes on curl. I don't think I burned too much, but a guy really has got to keep an eye on for that. It's something that's easy to forget. Even that guy who was buying jeans, he said he used to, a lot of times when he'd go through thrift stores, he'd go through the pockets. You know, he always feel if there's a crinkle, because I'll be darned if people don't just slide loose bills. I can't believe that, but they do. But see, that's a good hour's worth of heat right there. So that's another angle. But I got a lot of them to go through. But you run into a lot of weird brands that have no value. Britannia. That's nothing to nobody. It's really basically the Levi's, but some of the Wrangler, and especially if you get into the old Bluebell, you know, those carry a value. But it's all part of the work. And then after I burn them, the ashes from the jeans I spread on the driveway, because it will harden the driveway up to be like concrete. The only thing is then you have in your driveway a lot of little pieces of zippers and little pieces of buttons that look exactly like pennies. And it always confuses the little kids if they walk along and they see something that looks like a penny. Well, it's not. It's just another button. You see, that's clear, solid denim. But of various shadings, which is how you end up with this sort of thing. Like that is made out of corduroy. That one is wool. And that one back there, if it's on camera, is actually out of sweatshirts. But it's slight shadings of black sweatshirts and sweatpants. You can make a rug out of anything if you get enough of it. Or are willing to blend it into with other stuff. But I got a lot of panels to make. Now, like Xena. Ain't looking for Xena. Now, and here's something that isn't even jeans. It's some other weird material. Now, fine if you had a whole bunch of this. But this is only one of these. And I suppose that's probably got a lot of poly in her. Nope, 100% cotton, but it's so weird, you know. I think she's a stove material. You know, I'm not going to run into another one of them first I ever seen, but that happens. Gap. But Gap, that somebody got creative and put holes in the knees. So that's what I'm using the back. Morona. Means nothing to me, but it's good material, and at least they didn't hack these up. Another Morona. Could have come from the same person even. If you hear something, I avoid these weird, partly because they've always got a kind of a yellowish cast to them. Well, yeah, you could make a rug out of them, but I got better ones to deal with. So I'm kind of picky on what I use. Now, this is guess, okay. The thing about this stuff now, this is a thinner denim. Well, I will panel it, but I will set this in a different pile. I like to use the same weight of denim, but my ma does make a different sort of rug that's done on an old buggy wheel that she uses the lighter denim for. Though it also works for like placemats and table runners and that sort of thing. But I always keep the regular heavy denim separate. Peppy jeans from London. Okay, there again, a lot of paint. Back is good, and this leg is good. So this whole leg, I'll just discard it. You know, just for the sake of efficiency, and that I got, you know, like I said, I got enough to last the rest of my life. Stored up so I don't have to be too scrounging around. Here's Levi butt asses out of them. So that's good rug material. See, these are good in that the people at this store that we had this deal with didn't mess with them, because there are stores that will do it, but they will always take and do like this, cut the waistband, so they are completely non-functional, so that somebody can't sell them overseas. But like that buyer that always upset him when he found out that they'd been doing that, the jeans that would have been rather valuable if they'd left them alone. But a lot of times these people that work in these thrift stores, they really don't know, they really don't care. But there is a market for the vintage stuff, you know, for the right vintage stuff. Even like now, what I'm doing is I'll run into like those hash jeans and all that. Well, they're retro enough now where if they're in good shape, they're probably worth saving. You know? So like I say, I've got an eye for quality, or I instinctively pick up on something where I think, well, this better be, you know, not rushed into it, save it a little bit. So I tend to do that with anything that's questionable. That's where that guy, it was pretty nice to have him, access to him, because he knew what would sell and what wouldn't, you know, and he gave me a fair price for him because he could turn around and make a fair price himself. And the Japanese would pay.